when I recorded this the first time, I had the sound on, and so you can't hear anything I was saying. So I'm going to try this again by recording the recording, and hopefully this doesn't come out awful. So this game here was a game against Golufi, and he was playing a Reanimator deck. His commander's the Mimeoplasm, and mine, as always, is Sliver Queen. So I'm going to go ahead and close out the Queen there. It's a little bit strange because I have to describe what I'm doing if it needs description, and I can't slow it down now. So anyway, what happened here was obviously he ramped out and stepped my top. So the issue for me at this point is that my mana is actually really awful, and he just set himself up with a Terrastadon, which has the potential to make my mana go from awful to impossible. So Soul Ring meant that I had enough mana to get a Worn Power Stone down, so I went ahead and ate the Mind Stone, digging for colored mana. I know I have almost no time here with that Terrastadon threatening me. Fortunately, he didn't reanimate it this turn. But he does get a Lily of the Veil down, so he's going to start digging into my hand and setting himself up potentially. At least that's what I thought. When I saw him discard the Buried Alive, I was actually kind of happy he used the Veil, the Lily. And when he Imperial Sealed, I was even happier about Liliana, but very concerned because at this point we know that he got a Reanimator spell. So nothing for it but to get down here. Now I thought about stroking before he played his Reanimator spell, in case he had a counter, but then I realized that he's probably going to +1 Vest first and discard the counter. And so, if he has one, I don't know, maybe that was the wrong call, but as it turns out he had a discard spell, so I respond with stroke. And fortunately, it's a pretty nice hand. And I guess because he's planning on crushing my mana, he takes the Crypt. I think he'll end up regretting that later. And interestingly enough, unlike most people, he did not attack my blue. So here I went ahead and chose Imperial Seal because I just felt like having the instant tutors in general was probably better. It's easier for me to get white or blue mana while I have blue. But so I was more likely to be able to play the Enlightened, and having instants seemed pretty nice over a sorcery where I could like play the sorcery and guess wrong about what he was going to do on his turn. Anyway, and he has nothing else. The good thing here is that he's got nothing else besides this dead bird that he's using to protect Vest, or Veil with. So the Mimeoplasm isn't a terrible threat, and a Reanimator spell isn't a terrible threat. In fact, at this point, the only threat is on the board that I can see. And it's primarily Liliana of the Veil. Terrastadon's just a bit slow right now. So he hits me again, and I pitch the tutor. He decides not to swing because he wants to force me to kill an elephant to finish Liliana off, which I am not happy to do, but certainly willing to do. I was hoping I'd top deck Ice, but actually that command tower is wonderful because now we've got will mana. And look what happens. All the LD he did, well, the mana killing he did, it was all on cheap artifacts. So it's all about to be undone here. Out comes Soul Ring, the Crypt, top, and then I decided I want to take a peek, hoping for a colored mana. I was thinking I'd Imperial Seal, but the top 3 cards are so good, I really don't want to Imperial Seal, so I changed my plan again. Put Coalition relic down on top. The top cards were Demonic Tutor is now on top of the light, well, underneath the top, and Mana Drain is underneath that. So I regrow the stroke and pass the turn with all that in play. It's crazy that I was down to just an island and a tomb at one point. So I'm not real worried about keeping a top when I have as much gas as I have right now. And so the plan here became to, he's got an empty hand, so load up on mana and set myself up for the big stroke. But before, I figured, you know, I'll bounce his guy with Cryptic here at some point, but before I did, I might as well just trade the elephant. So I fetch up Transmute because right now the only threat really is the minute chance that I could kill myself, and I want to make that go away. And I can do it for value, turning a crypt that I no longer need into unlimited mana drains. Seems pretty good, especially when you're holding stroke, right? And of course he knows I'm holding stroke and he gives up. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the game. Stick around for game 2.